Sometimes you need to format a spreadsheet so that it will fit to one page. And sometimes you have so much data on a page that it won't fit to just one page if you did print it. So you need some tools to be able to determine whether or not you can fit a page, and if you cannot, what do you do? So in this case, in order to try to fit it to one page, you can change the orientation from portrait to landscape and vice versa. So if you have a lot of columns, you would want it to be landscape. And if you had a lot of rows, you would probably want to use the portrait orientation. You can change the column widths to make sure that they're not too wide for the page. And you can wrap the text of your column headings or even the data in the columns as appropriate. And you can change the page layout scale, which is here. I would say no less than 70% in changing that scale, because that will print very small. If you tell it to print one page wide and one page high, it may scale it down to around 40 or 50%, which would be really small, and when you print it, and you wouldn't be able to see it. So be careful about that scale. Don't get it too low. I'd say about 70% is the minimum there. So if you cannot fit everything to one page, you would want to repeat rows and columns on the subsequent pages, and you would do that using the print titles option here. So let's take a look. We have this spreadsheet, and what we want to do is go in and format it to fit to one page if we can. So we can see that it's portrait, and we can see that it's 3 pages. Okay. Notice on the pages, it doesn't show what the data is in the column over here. So we don't really know what these numbers are. Whereas on this first page, we have this column of labels. So that's very helpful. If you can't fit that on one page, it's very helpful to print that on the subsequent pages. So let's go in first and change this to landscape and just see what that did. Well, it's on 2 pages now, so that's helpful. Okay. So we could go in, we could decrease the margins if we wanted to do that. And I just usually check after each change to see how that has edited the document and how it prints. One other thing you can do is the scale here, and you can see as I decrease that, it's changing the scale. Okay, so I said no less than 70%, but that's still not going to get that spark line on the next page or on the same page. So it's almost there. So I'm going to go ahead and increase this again just so that it's easier to read. And let's just say I can't fit this to one page. The last option that you have there is to make it look professional if you do print it on multiple pages. And that's by taking these labels and repeating those on this next page. So what you would do is go to your print titles, and we want to repeat this column of labels. Okay, so we're going to columns to repeat at the left, and then just click up here at the top on A. Now it's saying it's going to repeat A through N. That's because I have these merged and centered. All you have to do is go up here and change that N to an A, and it will repeat column A on the next page. So we preview it, you can see the data here, and now you can see that it's repeating that column of data on the next page, which makes it look a little more professional and much easier to read because you have the labels with the data. So when you have those spreadsheets, go in and work with them a little bit and make those look professional, even though you might not be able to fit them to one page. And be careful about trying to fit it to one page because you don't want it to be too small.